Hello there, welcome to the Pre-Cal Homework Solutions for worksheet 1.12. So we're talking about this worksheet here. So let's get to it. So our first one we want to rewrite as complex number. So the square root of 121 is 11. So this would be the same as 3 minus 11i. All right, so number 2, the square root of 64 is 8, so square root of negative 64 would be 8i, so that's 7 plus 8i. I want to write the real number first. Okay, and then starting with number 3, we're going to rewrite these. So first of all, I want to do 42 over 4 in my calculator. So 42 divided by 4, we have a remainder of 0.5. All right, so if you remember from our list, 0.5 would go with I squared. So this is the same as negative I squared, which is negative 1, which would be 1. So negative I to the 42nd is the same as 1. All right, so let's take 31 on part B and divide it by 4. Okay, and you put that in your calculator. You're going to get a remainder of 0.75, but I'll just do it real quick. So 7.75, so you got 0.75 is the decimal part of that. All right, 0.75 goes with I cubed. All right, and you remember from your notes that I cubed is just the same as negative I. So 0.75 would be I cubed, which is negative I. Okay, so that does the trick. Really no further to go there. Okay, so part C, that's the same as, since it's negative 42, as 1 over I to the 42nd power. Okay, so we figured out that I to the 42nd power up in part A is the same as I squared. So this is the same as 1 over I squared, which would be 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. All right. So I to the negative 28. So 28 over 4 is going to be an even number. So this would be 1 over I to the positive 28th. And if it's even, it's the same as 1 over I to the 4th. And one thing you have to memorize is that I to the 4th is the same as 1. So that's 1 over 1, which is 1. And finally, I to the negative 13th, that's our negative I, that's the same as 1 over negative I to the positive 13th. Okay, 13 would have a remainder, if you do 13 over 4, of 0.25. So 0.25, so that's the same as, when we're going through our cycle, that's the same as I. So this is 1 over negative I, because there's that negative I out front. All right, and so 1 over negative I, what we want to do is rewrite this so we don't have an I in the bottom. So we're going to multiply by I over I. So that's going to be, so this, if you got to here, you're mostly correct, but we don't like leaving an I in the denominator. So I over I would have I over negative I squared. Excuse me, it's not I squared on top, just I over negative I squared. Negative 1 is positive 1, so that's I over 1. And that, goodness, reduces to just I. So negative I to the negative 13th is the same as I. All right, number 4, we're going to add the real part. That's 8 plus 5 is 13, and then negative 3 plus negative 6, so that'd be minus 9i. So you'd probably like a lot of those on the test. 10 minus 3 is 7. Negative 7 minus 4. So that'd be negative 11, right? So 7 minus 11i. All right, and then finally here, let's go ahead and do the real part first. So that'd be negative 4 plus 5, so that's 1. And then we have 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 9 is 10, so 1 plus 10i. All right, so pretty nice on, we got the first 6 done. So some of those parts from 1.12.2 can be a little tricky, but the other parts, hopefully you found that pretty easy. So number 7, so basically here we say simplify, we're really multiplying. So 7 plus 6i squared, we're going to just write it twice and multiply. I'm going to FOIL that out. 7 times 7 is 49, the front, and then the middle and the outside term, that's going to be 42. 7 times 6, 42 plus 42, so that'd be plus 84i. And then the last term would be plus 36i squared. So that's 49 plus 84i, and then 36 times negative 1 would be minus 36. So 49 minus 36 is 13 plus 84i. All right, so number 8, we've got 2 plus I times the square root of 3 times 2 minus I times the square root of 3. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4 for the front term. And then those middle terms cancel. 2i root 3 minus 2i root 3. So that's pretty cool. And then we have I times negative I would be minus I squared, all right, times the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Okay, so the radical lifts. So negative 1 is positive 1. All right, so this is just 4 plus 3, right? This is going to be negative 1 times 3. So 4 minus, so that's 4 plus 3, which is 7. So wow, that's multiplied, that just turns into 7. Pretty cool. So we'd have in number 9, I times 6 plus 4i times 2 minus 7i. So I'm gonna distribute the I at the very end. So let's FOIL this out. 6 times 2 is 12. And then minus 42i for the outside term, plus 8i for the inside term, 2 times 4. And then 4 times negative 7 would be minus 28i squared for the last term. So I'm still going to hold off on distributing the I because then I get into I cubed. So let's go ahead and do this now. So I'd have 12 minus, so that would be 34i. And then negative would be plus 28. All right, so this is going to be, if I distribute that I now, 12i minus 34i squared plus 28i. So negative, so that's 12 and 28, right, would be 42i. So this is going to be the same as negative 34 times negative 1, because I squared is negative 1, plus 42i. So that's 34 plus, oh, excuse me, that's 40i. 12 and 28 is 40. So that's going to be 34 plus 40i. So I do find, in a case like this, hey, let's just wait till the very end to distribute the I. because if you do it early, you're going to end up with an I cubed here, and then you have to go and remember, well, what's I cubed, and go through all that. So I do think that's the easiest way to do it on that style of problem. All right, well, let's finish this up with the last section. So we've got 10 through 13. Number 10, we want to simplify 1 over 5 plus I. All right, let's multiply. Let's get rid of that I in the bottom by multiplying by the conjugate of the denominator over the conjugate of the denominator. So that's going to be 5 minus I, and then we will FOIL the two denominators. So that's 25. And then the middle terms cancel, 5I minus 5I, and then minus I squared. So that's going to be 5 minus I over minus negative 1 would be plus, so that's going to be a 26. Oh, excuse me, this is an I, so that's 5. I apologize. I thought it was a 1. So this would be 5I minus I squared. So 5I minus I squared over 26. So that's 5I plus 1. Because negative, negative 1. So 5I plus 1 over 26. And the appropriate way to write this actually is 1 plus 5I. Get that? So don't forget to do that. Put the real part first. All right, number 11. So sorry about writing down the problem wrong. It's easy to confuse the I and a 1. So you have 2 plus 3I over 1 minus 4I. So we're going to get rid of that I in the denominator by multiplying by 1 plus 4I over 1 plus 4I. All right, let's FOIL out the top. We've got 2 times 1 is 2, plus 8I plus 3I would be plus 11I, and then plus 12I squared for the last term. And then on the bottom, the middle terms are going to cancel. That was the whole point. We've got a 1 from the front and a minus 16I squared on the bottom. So this is going to be negative 12, right? Because I squared is just negative 1. So negative 12 plus 2 would be negative 10 plus 11I over, and then of course this is negative 1 here, so over 17. Can't really simplify that any, so we're just going to go with that. All right, number 12, we've got 4 minus I over negative 2 minus 7I. So the conjugate to the denominator would be negative 2 plus 7I over negative 2 plus 7I. So FOIL out the top, that'd be negative 8, then plus 2I plus 28I, so plus 30I, and then minus 7I squared, all over positive 4, and then those two terms cancel, and then you have minus 49I squared. Of course, we know that I squared is negative 1, right? So this is going to be on top negative 8. Let's see. So that's got negative 8, and then this would be positive 7, right? Negative 7 times 1. So that's negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1 plus 30I over 4 minus negative 49. So 4 plus 49. So that's a positive 53. And we really can't improve upon that. So it didn't give you any that can really be simplified so far once you get to that answer there. And then number 13, negative 5 plus 5I over I. So in this case, when it's I, we can just multiply by I over I. If you want to do negative I over negative I, be my guest, but that's the same as I over I because the negatives will cancel, right? So we would have negative 5I plus 5I squared over I squared. Well, this will probably simplify some, so that's negative. And I'm going to put this versus 5 times negative 1, so that's negative 5 minus 5I. So I just went ahead and wrote it in the proper order. I squared is negative 1. And then negative 1 will go into negative 5 times. So you end up with 5, negative 1 into negative 5 plus 5I. So we even got rid of the denominator upon simplification. So there we go. Hope you didn't find that too hard, and you may have done these before in Algebra 2. But that does it for this video. I'll talk to you on the next one.